1. This happened more than a decade ago, but the screw-up was dormant until a few days ago. I was a teenager when my friend and I came up with this idea to write a list of life goals on a piece of paper for our older selves. We placed our papers inside a lockable box without showing each other what we wrote. My friend was the more responsible one between the two of us, and least likely to prematurely open the box in private, so we both agreed that he was going to keep the box and store it somewhere in his mom and dad's basement until we were old enough to open the box together. Life went on, and eventually we forgot about it. Fast forward to my friend's father's passing away, which left my friend with the house he grew up in, but no living parents. My friend made plans to turn the house into an Airbnb. I got an unexpected call from him a couple of weeks ago. We were no longer as close, so phone calls between us were somewhat uncommon. He informed me about his dad, the house, and then he mentioned what he found in his mom and dad's basement. The box. I encouraged my friend to open the box at that moment and read what we wrote while we were on the phone, but he suggested that we make it more meaningful by meeting up and reading it in person. Cut to the two of us becoming the four of us at the meeting because our girlfriends also became invested and involved. So, there we all were, at my friend's parents' house, enjoying good food and good company. When the time came to open the box, everyone expressed their excitement. My friend and I totally forgot what we wrote, so all of us were going in blind. A toolbox was required to open the box because the key for the padlock was nowhere to be found. My friend gave me his list and I gave him mine. Our girlfriends wanted it that way. I was the first to read. My friend had the following things on his list: fix my teeth, make money, learn other languages, travel, learn to cook, eat healthy, lose my virginity, study, teach, and lastly, continue skateboarding until I die. My friend's list was fun for everyone. However, my friend seemed hesitant to read my list. As soon as he said it might be better if I read my list in private, all of us, including me, egged him on to read the damn thing. My friend reluctantly read the following out loud. Tell Josh I wanna be his bottom. That was literally all I wrote. My friend, aka Josh, flipped the piece of paper so all of us could see the drawing that I made of the two of us screwing. No one seemed to know how to react. I attempted to break the awkward silence by pointing out that I was obviously joking when I wrote that. My friend backed me up and said it was totally in character for teenage me to make gay jokes at inappropriate times. Everyone kind of filed my list under boys will be boys and laughed it off. That being said, my girlfriend was not laughing during our drive home. She was too busy questioning me about my sexuality. She didn't stop with the questions until I finally confessed that I was, in fact, bisexual, which is something I have never actually shared with anyone. Needless to say, that revelation created tension between us, even though I've assured her that I'm not attracted to anyone else but her. Pessimism is telling me that I should brace myself for a breakup. 2. I'm in the middle of some hardcore mental distress. And, of course, my only 3 options to feel better are to get a tattoo, get a piercing, or give myself bangs. Unfortunately, I cannot afford all 3, so I was like, screw it, I'll get my lip pierced again. So, I go to my usual piercer, who I've been seeing since I was 18, and they told me that 8 years ago they started doing piercings by appointment only. I don't have time to wait until next Thursday. I'm sad now. Instead, I head over to the other place where I got my first piercing 22 years ago. They have a different name, but the same guy is working there, so it's okay. I said, I used to have snake bites and a vertical labret. I want to do something in the middle of my lip. The apprentice only showed me studs with gems in the middle. I decide, what the hell is temporary? I'll get one that matches my hair and my butt plug. Bright bloody red. I didn't think to ask if they had plain old stainless steel studs like usual, because I'm too busy giggling at the thought of sparkly red gems at both holes. I wait there for the piercer to get back from his lunch break, but it's okay because What We Do in the Shadows is on. and I love that show, and I don't have Hulu anymore, so I haven't seen it in a month of Sundays. He finally gets back from lunch, and since I was the first person in line, I'm the first one in. He goes, "Okay, so are you sure this is the color you want? I only have it in 4mm. And since I work in freedom units, I don't even know what a kilometer is. I say that 4mm is totally fine. Totally. I have not taken even half a second to think what a huge bright red gem in the middle of my lip will look like. So he pierces my lip. It's not elaborate, but it's not quite in the middle of my lip like an Ashley either. I want to have a specialized piece of jewelry made for when it heals that will hook over and just be very subtle. What I have now is not subtle. What I have now looks like a giant red sparkly herpes sore in the middle of my lip. I can't stop laughing every time I see myself, because I look like crack-whore Dorothy with my ruby red cysts. I have to wear this jewelry for the next 10 days or so. Once the red swelling goes down and I'm able to get it changed, it will look much better, but until then, I'm going to get a lot of crap from people. I already dread facing my friends in class on Monday. Should have just gotten the bangs. 3. Back in the early 2000s, I was involved in an outdoor music fest here in Pensacola called Springfest as a volunteer stage manager, basically a liaison between the festival and the artists. Usually held in May, we'd get the cream of the crop from Jazz Fest every year due to it being cheaper because they, the artists, were already in the region. I had the opportunity to meet and greet almost everyone I grew up listening to, and it was amazing. This one particular year on my stage, Saturday night, Blood, Sweat and Tears were my headliners, and before them we had Edgar Winter, and before them was Rick Derringer. Earlier in the day, in my meeting with Blood, Sweat and Tears management, I was told no one was allowed on stage except the band. No photographers, festival people, nobody. No problem. Fast forward to they finally take the stage, and by this time, old Edgar is hammered. He stumbles out of his hospitality trailer and starts heading for the stage. I'm walking behind him, about 30 feet or so, and as he's heading towards the back stairs to the stage, my security guy is looking at me like, "What's up?" I nod and motion to him to let Edgar pass. I decided we're not stopping him if he wants to go on stage. Big mistake. He proceeds to walk out onto the stage and starts air guitaring and making the sounds with his mouth. Just walks up right damn near the front edge of the stage and is playing his air guitar solo. The band stops playing mid-note, introduces him to the crowd, and they're all watching him like WTF. About this time, their guitarist starts playing along with Edgar, air guitaring and making mouth sounds. This is incredibly unbelievable. I allowed this to take place, and now look what's happening. After what seemed like an eternity, I do what must be done. I walk out on stage, right up to Edgar and say, "Come on, buddy, let's go get another drink," and grab his arm and start walking him back off stage to the back stairs. The crowd went absolutely wild, standing oblivion no less. I've never heard anything from their office manager either, was hoping I wouldn't get ran off. 4. So it's getting colder outside. We all know this. Winter is coming and the such. I have noticed a collection of spider webs below my kitchen sink that I have decided to leave in place and admire their progress. We have an understanding, the spiders and I. However, 3 days ago I had to break that agreement. My wife was preparing lunch when she discovered the extent of the webbing. Naturally, she looks down to get a closer look. Upon a closer look, we found what looked like a brown recluse, a big, chunky one. Next came a debate. We have an army of pill bugs that live below our home that I can only assume have been feeding it. I knew this was a shared area because I could see at least one daddy longleg nearby. I thought about just capturing Becky with the bad bite and removing it alone so I didn't hurt the others. But realistically, no matter how I cut it, With a young child and a couple of small animals in my home, we couldn't let this one, and possibly the others nearby, stay. So the decision was made to spray the area. We evacuated ourselves and our pets, and I set to work. Eventually the deed was done, and the beautiful webbed landscape was now coated in death soup. And I could see pill bugs and spiders alike trying to get away. It was too late for them. Several hours passed, we packed up and headed out to a play date for our daughter, and life carried on. Until today. We've noticed an awful smell in our house. We went through everything. Trash? Nope. Dishwasher? Doesn't stink like that, at least. Fridge? Nah, cleaned out a couple of days ago. We can't escape the smell in the kitchen, and it was getting worse. 3 days passed, we went about our lives, joked about the spiders watching our toes, and the last few weeks and making efforts to clean anything that could be causing the smell. My wife and I were cooking dinner. I opened the microwave when she discovered the spider bungalow. With the events that followed, the chicken was never removed from the microwave, and we, apparently, just hadn't used it in the last 3 days. It was so bad. We removed the source of the smell, and we're all relieved, but now we've lost our microwave, and I guess I'll have to get a new one. At least Black Friday is coming. I guess. 5. This happened yesterday, but I guess it started during the COVID lockdown. Way back in the days of lockdown, I had to renew my firearms license. Here in Canada, they're called a Possession and Acquisition License, PAL, and they're super important to keep up to date. You can get in trouble if you let it lapse and own any guns. As a result, they go out of their way to make the process easy and painless. During lockdown, when it was difficult or impossible for people to get a license photo taken, they were allowing renewals to carry over the old photo. I completed the renewal process and got the identical-looking license with the identical-looking photo. I followed the enclosed instructions, destroyed the old one immediately, and put the new one in a safe place. The old license went into the shredder, and the new one went into my fire safe. And there it sat for years. I did target shooting in university, but since then I haven't had the money to keep up with the hobby. Depending on where you are in this country, firing range memberships can be cartoonishly expensive. Fast forward to yesterday. I was cleaning out the family garage, and one of the important tasks was to get rid of the rinky-dink little rifle that's been gathering dust, properly stored, in the rafters for years. Luckily for me, the local gun shop had just enough space to take it on consignment. It was a filthy and exhausting day, but I had just enough time to grab my PAL and get to the store before it closed. We go through the inspection and settle on a price, and then he starts filling out the paperwork, which includes taking down my PAL info. Then my screw-up blooms into full flower. Do you have a non-expired PAL? So it turns out that I put my brand new license in the shredder. I put the old one away and didn't notice a mistake for 4 years. Lucky for me, the system is pretty well run. He was able to put the number through the database and see that my license was valid, and even got the correct expiry date. I felt pretty bad about keeping him late, but he reassured me that it was the funniest thing he'd heard all day. Now I need to contact the CFO on Monday, report my license destroyed, and request a replacement. And they're gonna want to know what happened. So I get to tell the government how stupid I am. Hey everybody, Hellfreezer here, and thank you very much for listening to Embarrassing Stories, episode 109. And thank you very much to everybody who allowed me to use their stories in this video. Before you go, please do hit the like button and share the video with friends and family. Also support me on my Patreon page, which is linked in the description. Okay, I think, nope, we don't have any other business today. So let's move along to Hellfreezer's question of the day. And today's question is, what is your latest musical rediscovery? I'm phrasing it that way because it's something you knew in the past, had completely forgotten about, then was, oh, I like that song. Mine is currently a song called Ever Again by Robyn, R-O-B-Y-N. Just a nice song. I can't remember where I came across it. I think it was on social media, maybe Instagram. Someone had linked it. I couldn't even tell you who now. And I thought, oh, let's have a listen. And oh, that's actually really catchy and mellow. And it's got a very strong 80s vibe to it, which I like. If you're going to look the song up, heads up, the music video is not safe for work. So just be careful where you're watching it if you do choose to look it up, or find a version that doesn't have the video attached to it. Let me know some of yours in a comment below. And before we go, let's take a look at the answer of the day from a previous video. And today's question comes from Embarrassing Stories 108 and was about, do you hold on to electronic devices when you no longer have an immediate use for them if they still work? And today's answer comes from M. Lee. I totally keep old electronics. It's come in handy when I've needed to reuse a phone due to my current one acting up. Or more recently, my laptop gave up the ghost, and I remembered I still had a Chromebook that worked, so I'm using that right now. Thank you very much for your answer, M. Lee. I do have my old laptop there. I got this... when did I get it? Let me think. I think I got it in 2009? Oh, it is old. Yeah, I think it was 2009 I got it in. So I'm thinking the hard drive is the problem on it, because I did replace the CPU on it a few years back. I bought a used one and put it in. It did seem to improve performance a bit. But when I tried to boot it up the other night, it said no hard drive detected. Even though it booted up initially, then just crashed, and the second time it said no hard drive. So I'm thinking of getting, maybe in Black Friday, we'll see when I get paid, because the date Google pays me is somewhat inconsistent. I think I may pick up a Crucial. It's a kind of a, not the cheapest brand, but they're a more affordable brand of hard drive that I bought to fix my PC a little while back, and I've had good performance from it, so I know it's good. So I'll maybe get one of those if they are cheaper on the Black Friday sale. And if it doesn't work, I can just pop it into another device as an extra storage. So that sounds like a plan. Hopefully it does, because the plan is I'll be able to pop that in my bedroom, because I don't have a computer in my bedroom. But I used to like to when my office setup was in my bedroom before I cleaned out a spare room so I could have an office in there. I used to like to have it in there for times when I was feeling poorly, which hasn't happened for a while. I haven't felt so bad. I've not been able to get out of bed for a while. I'm crossing all my fingers and toes. But it is still nice, to have something. You can just watch movies and TV shows and stuff, and just, while you let yourself get better. Plus, sometimes, it gets to a certain point in the evening, you think, I'm not tired enough to go to bed, but I kind of think I'm too tired to be sitting up. Maybe I want to lay down and just, chill out to some episodes of, What We Do in the Shadows was mentioned earlier. That is a favourite show of mine. Although I'm grumpy about it just now, because the final season has started airing, and we get the new episodes on Disney Plus in the UK. I'm going to yammer for a bit, prepare yourself. We used to get them on the BBC, but they stopped getting them after season 4. So from then on, it was on Disney Plus, which is fine, don't have a problem with that. I currently have a subscription. I take it now and again, I don't keep it consistently. I'm not saying I never will again, because I did have it for a few years. But last year was season 5. They didn't put them up when they went up in the US. It was 2 months after the season finished we got them, so I'm concerned it might be the same again, which is, it'll be so frustrating. Anyway, I should probably head off for now. So until next time, thank you very much for listening, and take very good care of yourself.